Even though there are 33 different heroes and 3 classes to choose from in Marvel Rivals, everyone is locking duelists, not knowing that Vanguard is actually the most powerful and fun role to play. But that is only if you actually know which Vanguards to play and how to play them. So today's video, I'm going to share with you the 3 best Vanguards in the game and teach you how to master them. With that being said, let's get right into it. The third best tank is going to be Venom. Although Venom is an absolute menace, he isn't placed any higher than 3 due to how hard he is to play and his selfish nature. He is the best dive tank in the game, but as a beginner you may find yourself diving in and dying, so make sure you take time to learn how to play him properly. The first thing you need to do is go into your settings and turn easy swing off. If you don't, you're gonna have a hard time. When playing Venom, you need to manage his cooldowns. Venom can have an infinite amount of health if played properly. Your job is to dive the backline. What you want to do is swing in the air and drop on the healers, then hit a right click to attach to them. While doing this, spam left click for damage, and once your cellular corrosion time is up, it will deal extra damage as well. And even though you are doing melee attacks, aim for the head as you do critical damage. When playing Venom, you will most likely begin to get melted, so keep an eye on your health. And when it gets low, click your E for an extra 900 health. At this point, your healers should be on you, then repeat this process only using E when you get low and asking for heals during the cooldown. Because you are always diving into the backline, you're gonna get shot a lot. Now most of the time his E won't be enough, so the best tip I can give you is to make sure when you're diving, you're in the line of sight of your healers. Try not to dive behind walls unless you know you can isolate a fight and you know you have enough time to re-queue your swing and E to get out. Diving in recklessly as Venom is an easy way to throw the game. Venom's ult is not the most powerful but can be deadly if comboed correctly. What you want to do is swing up and dive into the backline, then right click and spam left click. Once you get low, pop E. Then when the enemy is half HP or less, ult and kill them. By the time your combo is done, you should have your swing back and can get away safely to set up for another dive. Also keep in mind whatever damage you do with your ult, you will heal for. So this means if you hit enough people, you won't have to swing out and can continue to cause chaos. The second best tank in the game may be a little controversial, but it's gonna be Doctor Strange. Now he is amazing, but not the best in my books. There are a few things to keep in mind when you play him. He has the biggest shield in the game, which makes him the best solo tank and very good for controlling the point and making space. His shield has 800 health and regens over time when you put it down. When playing Strange, make sure you are swapping between holding his shield up and having it down. A good way to stay alive and do damage is to spam between holding your shield and shooting. But keep in mind there will be times when you need to hold your shield up for longer, so knowing when to hold it and when not to is very important. With that being said, you do always want to keep a bit of your shield up and you don't want to let it get fully melted, just in case an ult comes up so that you can block it. Strange's left click does do a decent amount of damage, and there is a trick to increase your damage output. You can left click and then instantly beat down with no cooldown. This will double your damage output. When using Strange's left click, every time you land a shot, it builds up dark magic. This will show as an indicator by your crosshair or on his cape as it turns purple. If you build up to 100% dark magic without releasing it, you will enter a state of anti-healing and cannot be healed. In order to release it, you need to use his E ability. This does AoE damage, and the more dark magic buildup that you have, the more damage that it does. So you want to keep your eye on it, and as soon as it hits 100%, you want to release it and do this over and over again to get the most damage output and continue to stay healed. Strange's shift allows you to float in the air, and this is extremely powerful for countering abilities like Hela's ult, as you can float up and block her, allowing your team to melt her down easily without getting killed. You can also use this ability to get out of danger when you are low, or use it in other ways if you find them. Just be creative with it, but always keep it in your back pocket if you're playing against a Hela. Strange's portal has a 3-minute cooldown, and it has multiple different ways that it can be used, but it should never be wasted. It can be used to get a flank right when the round starts. You can use it to get back to point quickly, get behind the enemy and use your ult, or combo with your teammates' ults for some massive kills. When it comes to Strange's ult, it's good, but it's not amazing. The best way to use it is to combo with a stronger ult, as it stuns the enemy for 3 seconds, making their souls leave their body, and any damage done to these souls is transferred to the enemy. There are a few different ways to use it. You can use your own portal to get behind the enemy team and ult them. If you do this, call it to your team and make sure they are with you. Once you pop it, do some damage and build up your E, then release the dark magic to do as much damage as possible. But the best way to use it is to combo with an ult like Scarlet Witch, Iron Man, or Moon Knight, so the enemy cannot move and will get deleted by the combo. You can use the ult in other ways as well, but make sure when you use it, your team is with you and ready to deal damage, or it won't get any value. Yo, what's good gamers? If you're enjoying this video so far, consider hitting that sub button. It would mean a lot if you did. If not, no worries. Much love, guys. And finally, the strongest tank and my favorite hero in the game, Penny Parker. Now, Penny may not be the easiest to use, but she is most definitely the best tank to climb with, and these tips are all you'll need to know in order to master her. Penny does an insane amount of damage at a decent range, so you do not want to be running it down and trying to tank all the damage with her. You want to play back and play around your traps. She shines the best when defending a point. What you want to do is set up your spider nest by a choke point, but make sure it is hidden. From here, throw your other mines around the choke point as well. When the enemy starts to push, let them walk into your traps. Once one gets close, use your right click to snare them with your web and then melt them for an easy kill. Penny also has the best anti-dive kit in the game. So if your healers are constantly getting dove and killed, set up your spider nest and hide it somewhere in the backline so that your healers can play in it. This will stop anyone trying to dive them, as they will die very quickly. Penny gets a health increase and speed boost when she is inside her webs, so the best thing to do is try to play around your nest as it leaves webs on the ground. Also, if you start to take damage and your nest isn't up, you can shoot your web snare on the ground and stand in it for healing and speed boosts. You can also hide your traps inside your webs. So if you want to get creative, you can throw your traps in a spot, then shoot your web on top of them to conceal them for a nice little surprise. Penny's right click is one of the most powerful abilities in the game. Not only can it heal you and buff you, it is also amazing for securing kills. Make sure you are using it on an enemy that is dumb enough to come close to you, and when you go to use it, call it out to your team. If it lands, the enemy will be stuck for a short period of time, allowing you to burst them down. This is extremely powerful against enemies like Venom. If you time it properly, he won't be able to pop his E and get extra health, so you can melt him easily. It can also stop some ults from being popped if you time it properly and hit them as soon as you hear the ult sound. The snare has a very short cooldown, so it should be used constantly. And always make sure you are hitting enemies that are lower in health so that you can finish off the kills. When it comes to her mines, you're going to want to throw them as much as possible near any enemy that you see, as they have a short cooldown and there's no limit to how many you can throw at once. They do a decent amount of damage, so if you combo them with your left click and a snare, you should be able to kill a lot of squishies very quickly. Now, Penny also has a very useful repositioning tool. This should be used whenever you drop to low HP and need to get out of danger quickly. It can attach to anything around you and will pull you towards it instantly. So if you feel like you're in trouble, just use it to get out. When it comes to Penny's ult, it is a space taker and staller. It doesn't do an insane amount of damage, but what it does is make a certain part of the map unplayable while you are in it. There are 2 times to use it: when the enemy team is grouped up, or when you need to retake or hold a point. When you use it, make sure you are spamming right click to place mines, and when you get close to an enemy, left click to hit them. If the enemy is grouped up, run through them, then around them, placing mines and doing damage. If you are trying to control a point, run all around the point, making it so the enemy can't touch it. When you're in her ult, you're going to have increased health and movement speed because you are inside of her webs. Keep this in mind and don't go too deep into enemy territory near the end of your ult. Instead, use that extra speed boost to get back, because once your ult is up, all the webs and mines will disappear, meaning you will lose your extra health and movement speed, and if you're out of position, you will get melted quickly. Each one of these Vanguards can hard carry a game. I would suggest you try them all out and play the one that suits you best. And if you want to be an even better Rivals player and be able to carry on strategists as well, go ahead and check out this video next.